Rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That's why I
Plug it in. All right. Has council had an opportunity to review the meeting minutes from November 3rd? If so, I'll ask for a motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
I'll second. Motion from Robin, second from Becky. Any discussion on them? Hearing none, those in favor can state aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Any changes to this evening's agenda? Hearing none, I'll ask for approval of the set agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion from Rick, second from Robin. Those in favor can state aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Guests in open forum. Is anyone here wishing to address the council this evening? Seeing no one, we'll move on to committee reports. Personnel Committee. Personnel Committee met a while ago, and the items that we discussed are on this evening's agenda. It was an updated to the job description at the community center, and then also the premium payment, which Mark Ebensteiner will be covering a bit later. And I think that was the gist of it. It took us a while to get through the premium payment. There was lots of questions, so. How about Public Works?
I left my notes in the truck.
All right, you're lucky I got mine.
Thank you.
All right, so Public Works, we discussed all of the projects that are coming up on the bonding project. You know, we've been discussing everything that's happening across Highway 10 and how it correlates with here, like on Bank Street and different segments, and things are really, we're making sure that all the timing plays out just right, that everything can get covered by the bond bill and making sure that nothing is missed. So there's a lot of moving parts. Luckily, we have a great department head on top of it. They've been really keeping track of everything that's going on, making sure that we get the best bang for our buck and making sure that our timing and logistics is correct with everything. So we spent some time on that. We did talk about the Christmas lighting throughout the city. We had a couple, you'll see on the consent agenda, there was a couple items that have been old and fatigued out, so they'll be discharged away from us. But the city is being, if you'll start to see some of the lights going up around this on the flag poles. And then there will be a remembrance tree out in the City Hall Plaza for those members that wish to honor their loved ones. They'll be able to place an ornament. It's like a little tag ornament on the tree. So that's new this year, and it'll be, sounds like it's going to be a great idea that they've come up with. So we talked about a snow plowing contingency plan in case we have like a COVID issue, like how in the emergency, what routes will get done immediately first, depending upon that. So kudos to the public works staff that they are really thinking about everything forefront. Like what happens, I mean, if we have kids in the school, you know that you can't have the buses running late. There's a shortage of bus drivers. So we're just getting that contingency plan ready for the snow plowing season. We have one new hire over there, Pat Demmer. He joined the streets department. And then we talked about the wastewater treatment facility.
Ribbon cutting.
Yeah, yes. Yes, we talked about doing a ribbon cutting out there. They feel like, you know.
They need a cutting.
Yes, they need some splash, no pun intended. But so we're gonna head out there and so we thought we'd head out there and give them a little ribbon cutting on the dump station. So it's 99% complete as last week, so it will, watch your calendar invites, I guess.
Right?
Yeah. Dress according to the weather. How's that? All right, how about the Lpi Tour? The Lpi Tour Council, most of us took it. They wanted to showcase what they kind of do, and it's great to be able to like go into a business and let them showcase what they do and see how they operate and what their pros and cons are and how they contribute to the community. So thank you to LPI for giving us a staff tour. How about Joint Powers Fire Board?
Joint Powers, we just met last night. Nothing major going on over there. We paid the bills, did all that fun stuff. I think the biggest thing we learned is that Tony retired from, God, how many years? Did they say how many years? she's
20
been here?
years.
20, it was a lot. Yeah.
So,
So that was the biggest news probably we talked about. So thank you, Tony, for your service. So that's about it.
about it. Any other committee reports?
We didn't meet last.
All right, well, we'll go on to public hearings. It's a public hearing for certification of delinquent utilities. Mr. Ebensteiner.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. Item in front of you tonight, public hearing for certification of delinquent utilities. There was a couple attachments. There's a resolution as well as an exhibit. A little bit of background. City Council called a public hearing to certify delinquent utility charges on November 3rd, so the prior meeting. The city has the authority per Minnesota Statute 444.075 subdivision 3 to certify unpaid water and sewer charges for collection with the subsequent year's property taxes. Water and sewer accounts more than 60 days past due and owing more than $50 are to be assessed and were notified by mail October 29th. Christine Olin, our accounting clerk, does a great job of organizing all the information that goes out and with the accounts and taking questions, so just a great job there. She had mailed out notices to properties totaling, the total amount was $20,199.35. Property owners are given until November 24th at 4:30. So next week to bring their accounts current. To date, 42 accounts do remain outstanding for about $16,000. There's a brief summary there of the beginning and ending assessed. Normally we, from where we start to where we end, right around 50 to 75% remain that are assessed over the last 5 years. Exhibit A does include a detailed list attached to the memo. That will support what we send over to the county for certification. So the action requested tonight, open a public hearing, motion and second to close the public hearing, noting the time, and then a motion and second to adopt resolution 2193, certifying delinquent utilities to the tax rolls. And with that, I can take any questions, or we can move on to the public hearing.
Well, I'll go ahead and open the public meeting at 5:08. Does council have any questions in regards to it?
Oh, it's pretty standard every year.
Yep. Is there anyone from the audience that is here to address for this public hearing? All right, I see no one, so I'll ask for a motion to close the public hearing.
Move we close public hearing?
Second.
Motion from Mike, second from Rick. Those in favor may state aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried. We are closed at 5:08 p.m. And now I'll ask for a motion.
I make a motion, we approve resolution 2193.
Okay.
Second.
Motion from Mike, second from Robin. Any discussion? Hearing none, those in favor can state aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Thanks. All right, board committee and consultant reports. Premium pay. Mr. Ebensteiner.
That's me. Thank you, Mayor, City Council. Premium pay to essential workers. So a little bit of background. In response to the coronavirus pandemic, Congress has adopted the American Rescue Plan Act. That was previously in March of 2021. So the rescue funds are intended to provide support to local governments in responding to the impacts of COVID-19 in their communities. On July 27th, the city of Becker did receive our first half of the rescue funds, right around $262,000. We expect to receive the second half next July. Some of the items that were identified for eligible uses, there was 4 primary items. The one I'll touch on with the premium pay describes responding to workers performing essential work during the COVID-19 public health emergency by providing premium pay to eligible workers. So as authorized by the Act, staff is proposing to utilize up to $65,000 of American Rescue funds for premium pay for essential workers. Essential workers, as defined in the guidance, since it is federal funds, we do have to follow all the federal guidance. So within the guidance, they're identified as workers in critical infrastructure sectors who regularly perform in-person work, interact with others at work, or physically handle items handled by others. Currently, staff are evaluating and identifying the individuals that would qualify for the retroactive premium pay because we can date it back. So employees that had worked for the city from March of 2020 through today's dates, we ran some reports and started summarizing that list. Really, Treasury does really encourage recognizing that many essential workers have not received additional compensation for their service during the pandemic. So really, a lot of the guidance talks about focusing primarily even on lower wage earners and really making the biggest impact for your employee base. Initial evaluations identified approximately 150 full and part-time staff members who would fit into that critical employee basket. Preliminary, looking at a base amount of approximately $300 for part-time staff and $600 for full-time staff is what we're considering. And then consideration is also being given to provide an additional percentage to the base for a select group of employees whose jobs were most impacted by the pandemic, for those first responders or food and beverage staff who were very much interacting with the public. Also, as some employees at the community center golf course are seasonal, funds would be available for those individuals that return in the spring of 2022. We do have a extended timeline to spend the rescue funds, so we would identify those employees who are seasonal and do work for the city on an annual basis and keep those funds, and when they would return to employment, we would be able to provide that at that time. So on the board and commission committee action, we did discuss this at Budget and Finance in late October. At the November 5th personnel meeting, as the mayor had identified, we did discuss and got some guidance there. The budgetary fiscal impact, looking right around that 65,000 use of American Rescue Funds. Just figuring out, we would look at doing it as an individual, separate payroll from our normal payroll. So looking at what's required with FICA, Medicare, Para, we'd still have to have those contributions that would come out of that lump sum. So really the requested action, a motion and a second to recognize essential workers and support premium pay for employees who perform essential work during the COVID-19 public health emergency.
Well, it seems as though you've covered all the bases where I thought it would be necessary. So unless there's anything else that anybody wants to add to that or take away.
No, I can tell you, like at personnel, we talked about what qualifies for the use of this money. I think that was our main driver. And then who qualifies and then the lump sum of like how it was going to be figured out. So there was, it was just the process of walking through it and making sure that everything was identified. I think that was probably the most time that we spent at personnel talking about the premium pay, just getting a grasp of it. Was Budget and Finance kind of the similar discussion maybe?
Not into that much detail. It was more of the, where the money was gonna come from. It sounds like a lot less discussion, I think, than said.
Yeah, I think it was just, our meeting was a month ago, so it was just starting to be talked about, so.
Yeah, whereas we were able to like
Yeah.
we were able to see a little bit more.
We did get an email updating us though, so.
Good.
Well, with that, unless there's any other questions or concerns, I'll make a motion. We approve the premium pay to essential workers as staff has set it up.
Right, we have a motion from Mike and a second from Becky. Any other discussion? Hearing none, those in favor can state aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Administrator and staff reports. Call for public hearing for certification of weed and grass removal charges. Mr. Lisson.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Tonight, the Public Works Department is coming to Council to ask for a public hearing on December 7th to consider assessment of unpaid weed removal charges. So staff did go out on June 14th and September 16th of this year inspected properties throughout the city and found any that were outside of our weed ordinance. Notice was sent to those residents. They had 10 days to bring their property into compliance. If they didn't after that, then staff would go around and do the work to bring the property in compliance. Of those residents, bills were mailed out on June 24th and October 4th for any properties that city staff had to bring into compliance. So to consider any of those bills that were unpaid for the 2022 property tax roll, public hearing must be held. Notice was sent out to those that did not pay their bill yet that there will be this meeting. And so tonight, we're looking for a motion and a second to call for a public hearing to be held on Tuesday, December 7th, 2021, at approximately 5 p.m. to consider the assessment of those unpaid weed and grass removal charges.
Make a motion to call for a public hearing, Tuesday, December 7th at approximately 5 p.m.
I'll second it.
Motion from Rick, second from Mike. Any discussion? With none, those in favor may state aye. Aye. Opposed, carried. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
Becker Community Center indoor cycling bike replacement with Bart. I'm sorry because I can't say your last name very well, so you don't get a,
Really?
yeah, Mr.
Gevins.
Gevins.
Givens. Always say
Okay.
Givens.
Usually it's my first name because the double T always trips everyone up. Because Bart wasn't just unique enough, we had to add another T to it. So,
The second one's silent.
yeah, exactly. It's most of the time you're like, it should be Barrett, right? No, it's Bart. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Tonight I have an RCA for you for replacement of the indoor cycling bikes at the community center. Attached are quotes from Ready Fitness as well as Johnson Fitness and Wellness. We have $10,000 set aside in our strength and equipment replacement within the CIP for 2021. And the fitness staff has identified replacement of our indoor cycling bikes as something that they feel is necessary and is needed to continue to enhance and grow our group fitness areas. So proposing replacement of 9 bikes. The current ones that we have were purchased in April of 2017. Those were in used condition. They did not come with any warranties or anything like that, so we have kind of constantly been putting Band-Aids on them and dragging them along. Those bikes are also outdated, so people who are coming to those classes are also using equipment that they're kind of not anticipating and what they would expect to use when in those types of classes that we offer. So the quote is for 9 Le Mans Rev Pro bikes. The vendor said that with the amount of classes we offer and how much use we put on those, he would anticipate anywhere from 7 to 10 years worth of use out of those before they need replacement. And then with that, with buying new versus used, we qualify then for the warranties that are kind of listed out on the bottom where they come with a 5-year frame, structural warranty, and then 3 years with that, and then also parts and labor for 1 year. As many of you know, buying 9 new ones, and this also would contain returning or selling back our existing ones. And so with that, we get 9 brand new bikes that we can use versus doing like 1 at a time, 2 at a time, and then we got people coming early for class fighting over the good bikes and the not good bikes. And so this way it kind of gives us a good way to kind of start from scratch. And we feel a good way to use CIP dollars considering the price tag to do 9 full ones in one swing. So this evening I would love a motion and a second to engage with Johnson Fitness and Wellness on the purchase of those 9 bikes, and I will open it up to any questions.
These are, I know, but maybe for everybody's info, these are revenue generating, in a sense, when people sign up for these classes, they pay for these classes extra, so this is something that potentially we should more than see the $10,000. We have to put the money up front, but we should more than see $10,000 in revenue.
Yeah, most of our classes for cycling are offered within the community center membership. But with that, we do get a lot of group fitness people who sign up specifically for that. I mean, it's the, group fitness is the fastest way we're growing back our base right now. People are sick of working out in their basements and they're ready to get back into social engagement and group fitness. So, investing in that area has definitely got an ROI to it. Not to mention that the group fitness base alone is just, it's what we have a good market in right now. You know, there's a lot of fitness options within the area, not a lot of group fitness options within the area. So it's something that we need to make sure that we kind of stay with, keep up with the Joneses on, so.
I'll make a motion to approve engaging Johnson Fitness and Wellness for indoor cycling bike replacement.
I'll second.
Motion from Robin, second from Mike. Any other discussion? Hearing none, those in favor may state aye. Aye. Opposed, carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Consent agenda, Mr. Przezinski.
Madam Mayor, City Council consent agenda for November 16th. Item number 1, termination and report form for our Finance and Community Center. Administrative Support Specialist, Recreation and Leisure job description update. Information Systems Manager job description update. Item number 4, Professional Services Contract for our managed IT services. Item number 5, Polling Place Designation for 2022. That's Resolution 21-92. City Hall will be the designated place for polling next year. Item number 6, declaring property surplus and ordering its disposal, and that is from our Public Works Department, various items listed in the packet. Item number 6, acceptance of post-board audit of our police department. I think we sent out an email earlier. Certainly we want to take action and accept that. Thank you to Brent and our police department for keeping a nice and tidy ship over there. Item number 8 is a partial pay request. That is American Liberty Construction. Remember, that's for the municipal well field, specifically the new well house. This partial pay in the amount of $164,000.20. So if you have any questions, I can certainly try to address the questions. Otherwise, a motion to adopt the consent agenda for November 16th would be appreciated.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion from Rick, second from Robin. Any other discussion? Hearing none, those in favor may state aye. Aye. Opposed, carried. Payment of the bills.
Make a motion to pay the bills.
Second.
Motion from Rick, second from Robin. Any discussion? Hearing none, those in favor may state aye. Aye. Opposed, carried. Does council have anything else for the betterment of Becker? If not, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
Move we adjourn.
Second.
Motion from Mike, second from Becky. Those in favor may state aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned at 5:23 p.m.
I can't stop